So have you ever just pulled your phone out of your pocket, tapped a tiny piece of glass, and boom, instantly known that it's raining in London, sunny in Tokyo, or I don't know, snowing in New York, right? We do this literally every single day, and honestly, we completely take it for granted. But think about it. How does this little, isolated, unconnected device actually know what the sky looks like halfway across the globe at this exact second?
Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep, like really deep, into the hidden infrastructure that makes all our modern apps possible. We're going to peel back the shiny interface of your smartphone and take a look at the bustling digital highway right underneath. It's this crazy world of constant communication, and there's really one absolutely critical component running the whole shebang: the invisible digital messenger. Okay, let's dive into this. API. It stands for Application Programming Interface. A bit of a mouthful, I know, but the concept itself, beautifully simple. Think of an API as, well, a digital messenger. It's basically a dedicated courier that allows completely different applications to talk, share data, and work together in perfect harmony. See, your phone doesn't just generate data out of thin air, right? It has to ask for it. And the API is the trusty messenger that carries that exact question.
Now picture this. On one side, you've got your mobile app. On the other side, there's a massive server or a database storing literally millions of pieces of information. The app is sitting there saying, hey, I need data, but it can't just reach into the server itself. No way. Instead, it hands that request over to the API, sitting right there in the middle. The API grabs the message, sprints over to the database, fetches the exact piece of information required, and then runs all the way back to your phone saying, here's your data. It's essentially a tireless, endless game of fetch happening in literal milliseconds.
Section 1. Real-world example, weather apps.
To move from the abstract to something highly concrete, and this brilliantly illustrates the point, let's look at this process in action. Think about your trusty weather app. You open it up, you select New York. The app instantly packages a little message saying, hey, what's the weather today in New York? The API takes that message, zips across the digital void to a dedicated weather server, which is basically a massive computer that tracks global meteorology. That server processes the request, hands the current conditions right back to the API, and then the API delivers it straight to your device. And presto, you see that it's 24 degrees and partly cloudy.
So let's break this seamless digital interaction down into 3 distinct, really easy-to-remember steps, just so we really cement it. Step 1. Ask. Your app requests the data. Step 2. Fetch. The API travels over to the external server to locate that specific info. And Step 3. Return. The API brings the requested data safely back to your app to be displayed. Ask, fetch, return. It's a simple 3-step dance. And you know what? It's happening millions of times a second all over the world.
Section 2. Under the hood, JSON.
Now that we kind of understand the general flow, we really need to look a bit closer. Because think about it. If a weather app was built by Apple in California and the weather server was built by some meteorological society in Switzerland, how do they actually understand each other? So, what language does our messenger speak to ensure absolutely nothing gets lost in translation?
Now, what's really interesting is the exact language being used. When you look at the request, you've got the app sending a simple GET command for the city of New York. Easy enough. But then look at the response it gets back. This is the raw data the API actually returns. Notice how it's wrapped up in those curly braces and neatly organized? It says City, New York. Temperature, 24. Condition, partly cloudy. This highly organized, incredibly specific format, that is called JSON data.
Now, JSON technically stands for JavaScript Object Notation, but hey, you absolutely do not need to memorize that. What you do need to take away from this is that JSON is just a universally structured format. It is the ultimate digital translator. Literally billions of lines of JSON are parsed every single day across the internet. And because the API delivers the data in this universally agreed-upon format, it means completely different applications, even ones written in totally different programming languages, can understand each other perfectly. It just strips away all the confusion and leaves only structured, totally usable data.
Section 3. Powering your daily life.
Biggs, look, this invisible messenger isn't just about knowing if you need an umbrella in New York today. Think about your entire daily routine. Every single time your music app loads up your personalized playlist, an API fetched it. When you use a travel app to book a flight and you're seeing those live seat availabilities, APIs are talking to the airlines right then and there. Mobile banking pulling your latest transaction history? Yep, APIs. E-commerce platforms tracking your package delivery in real time. Streaming platforms recommending what you should watch next. or even cloud services instantly syncing your photos across all your devices. Literally all of these rely entirely on these digital messengers functioning absolutely flawlessly every single second of the day.
So the API isn't just a simple straight line between 2 points. Really, it acts as a central hub. It's the essential connective tissue for our entire global digital infrastructure. Whether we're talking about music, travel, shopping, or cloud storage, APIs are just spinning right there in the center of it all, connecting apps, connecting services, connecting platforms. Honestly, it's the glue that makes all your fragmented apps feel like one big, seamless, magical experience.
Section 4. A world without APIs.
You know, to truly appreciate a system, you kind of have to imagine life without it. So let's contrast these two realities side by side for a second. With APIs, we live in this amazing era of real-time data, instant updates, and a perfectly seamless user experience. Everything just works. It feels like magic. But without APIs, oh man, it's a completely different story. There's zero communication between apps and services. Features break instantly. Functionality becomes incredibly limited. Without them, your smart device essentially becomes deaf, dumb, and totally blind to the outside world.
Just picture the cascading red error symbols across every single service you use. The weather app shows no data. Your e-commerce orders fail at checkout. Messaging apps just sit there in endless loading loops, and banking transactions stall out completely. So the crucial point is, without APIs acting as the backbone, modern applications simply wouldn't work. The highly interconnected digital world that we rely on for business, for communication, for entertainment, it would just completely collapse into isolated, totally useless islands.
It really puts things into perspective, doesn't it? The sheer complexity of our modern world is held together by something we can't even see. This invisible digital messenger is constantly sprinting across the internet just to make it all happen for you. But as our apps get smarter and as AI begins actually generating its own data, well, who's going to be building the messengers of tomorrow? And maybe more importantly, what happens when they start talking in a language we no longer understand? Something to think about next time you check the weather.